Solomon Northup is my name. I'm a free man.
If you want to survive, do and say as little as possible.
I don't want to survive. I want to live.
The condition of your laborers, it's all wrong.
Man does how he pleases with his property.
You say that with pride.
I say it as fact.
I thought you know something.
I did as instructed. There's something wrong. It's wrong with the instruction.
There is no justice in this slavery.
If justice had been done, I never would have been here.
In his own time, good Lord will manage them all.
I will not fall into despair. I will keep myself hardy till freedom is opportune.
We're very lucky to have all these roles filled with the great actors, starting with Yurtel.
He's in every scene. Emotionally, as an actor, it's a rigorous workout. You can't imagine how difficult it was to do what he had to do. And he was amazing.
Solomon's journey is an odyssey, and it spreads over 12 years, and he encounters all these different people, and so it became this huge cast of great actors. Michael Fassbender.
They brought this on me.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Well, I'll admit to being impressed even if you won't.
Paul Dano, Paul Giamatti.
Platt.
My name.
Your name is Platt.
Peter Nyong'o.
500 pounds of cotton, day in, day out, more than any man here.
Scoot McNairy, Michael K. Williams, Brad Pitt.
That what is true and right is true and right for all. White and black alike.
Adepero Douye, Sarah Paulson, Alfred Woodard.
You know, the list was endless. These different people were coming in, and that was an amazing part of the filmmaking process.
Marker.
Camera set. Action.
Well, I knew it was Yurtel. I've been watching him for a long, long time. And I always felt that he was able to sort of reach that kind of performance. And I knew that he could do it.
I was born a free man.
Can I get a kiss, please? Thank you.
Until the day I was kidnapped and sold into slavery.
We had a pretty extraordinary script. And at that point, we got Chiwetel Ejiofor to commit to playing Solomon.
If you want to survive, do and say as little as possible.
Well, I don't want to survive. I want to live.
Chiwetel got on board, and there was never another Solomon.
Pick that cut. Move along, huh?
When I first read the script and the book, I'd never read or seen anything like that in my life.
This is a film about love at the end of the day, and it's a film about a man, you know, who loves his family and is trying to get back to them, you know. And he has these major obstacles, obviously, but along that journey, he finds these connections with people and relationships and moments and people who help, people who try, people who are in his favor, people who can't, some people who can't help him but understand him and empathize.
All I know, we were traveling. We wish we'd die trying.
Survival's not about certain death. It's about keeping your head down.
The book as a template is so useful as a way of trying to understand this character in this time.
Master brought you here to work.
I don't want to hear a word out of none of you.
Once you read Solomon's autobiography, it puts you in a certain mindset where you start to get a little glimpse into what he's going through and what he is seeing.
I originate from Canada. I guess where that is.
Well, I know where Canada is. I've been there myself.
Well, traveled for a slave.
Once I started to see that, to really feel what that emotional journey would mean for someone, it's impossible to kind of lose it. It's something that has really penetrated me.
Went down to the river Jordan.
Going to the plantations in the South and being in places where some of these things occurred.
Roll, Jordan, roll.
That burning heat,
Roll, Jordan, roll.
the violence that he sees occur. You do get a glimpse of what the day-to-day must have been like. It's quite a thing.
Chiwetel conjures up the most profound empathy, not just because of the situation. There's something about him and what he transmits as an actor that's just very, very earnest, very vulnerable, very sharp, and you really care for him.
Working with Chiwetel, who's very experienced and a great actor, been a fan of his work for a long time. So bright and so just ready. It's kind of incredible. The confidence and poise and prep is really impressive.
He allowed the rest of us to have that same kind of work ethic. Let's go about this with an efficiency and a sense of duty.
My back is thick with scars for protesting my freedom.
Watching Chiwetel was, to me, a masterclass in subtlety and in nuance, because he did have this 12 years of his story to tell, and starting in one place, and I was able to see all of it just alive in him.
You can't imagine how difficult it was to do what he had to do. He's in every scene. Emotionally, as an actor, it's a rigorous workout.
I worked with a dialect coach and strove to indicate the passage of 12 years to the hair, makeup, voice, physicality.
He became very much in depth in Solomon, and that was impressive to see.
Days ago, I was with my family, in my home. Now you tell me all is lost.
It takes a lot of courage and strength to keep within that character for that period of time.
I thought you knowed something.
I did as instructed.
There's something wrong. It's wrong with the instruction.
We just knew going in that it was going to be a physical strain to reenact those exact things.
Your story, it is amazing. And in no good way.
You come here.
Mr.
I said come here! But it felt it was such a strong part of the story.
I will survive. I will not fall into despair. I will keep myself hardy till freedom is opportune.
It was tough sort of emotionally and physically, but every day there was a sense of really connecting to Solomon and his story. And reenacting something that he went through and trying to reenact it in the detail that he describes it was something that really was very important to me.
It would be an unspeakable happiness to see my wife and my family again.
Chiwetel has the ability and nobility to sort of hold the camera and hold the whole film together.
It was an extraordinary journey to go on, and I knew that it would be.
I was a free man. I'm not a slave.
It shows the complexity of slavery and exactly sort of all the different sort of facets of slavery, which perhaps hasn't been investigated before. So it's not just the black and white scenario. It shows the economy of slavery. We see Solomon go from a logging farm to a cotton farm to sugarcane. So we see how intrinsic it was in the economy of the South at the time.
Mr. Ford, splendid seeing you, sir. What catches your fancy? This lounge is very brawny, yeah?
How much are the ones Platt and Eliza?
I play the character William Ford, who has a plantation. He's a man of God, and he's regarded by a lot of people in the area, a lot of accounts, not just Solomon's, as being a very good man. As far as anyone with a 21st century view, and it can be a good man.
My great thanks, Master Ford.
And my thanks to you.
There's a certain sensibility about Benedict which translates very, very, very well for that character, Ford. Because there's a duality, there's a caring, but at the same time there's a weakness. And he has to somehow make sense with it.
He's somebody who's tortured, really, by his own self-awareness. He completely understands the inhumanities of what is going on, and he has a care for human beings as souls and children of God.
It's no longer safe here.
My name is John Tibbets, William Ford's chief carpenter. You will refer to me as master.
It's about the human spirit, and that at the end of the day, this man endured 12 years of something that I think would be hard for all of us to comprehend, much less coming out of it with any sense of hope or, you know, your spirit even attached. I mean, I can't imagine what I would do in that circumstance. And for him to have survived it, not only survived it, but held on to his heart and his soul and his sanity.
And that servant shall be beaten with many stripes. That's scripture.
Solomon is purchased by my husband, Mr. Epps, who is capable of enormous cruelty and is famous for this.
Speak! Man does how he pleases with his property.
It's not good for him there.
Well, I saw her audition, and that was it. It's Mrs. Epps.
Master brought you here to work, that's all. Any more, I'll earn you 100 lashes. She was written in such a way that it was very clear to me that there was no way for me to try to soften her or to make her anything other than what she was, and that the story couldn't be told properly unless I really went there. And I had to just try to get into the mindset of a person who believes these things. Look at them. They foul with it. They foul with their hand. You let it be, it's gonna come back to us in the dark of night.
And of course, Michael Fassbender, there's no one else who could play that role, really. It's just like Chiwetel, he's extraordinary.
Well, you won't stand idle, boy. Not on my land.
It's an immediate disliking because Epps feels inadequate around Solomon, funnily enough. And that's very much the root of their relationship. Solomon just has to sort of follow orders, basically. And it's a dancing game.
You come here. Master Abdul. I said come here!
But he's essentially obsessed with Patsy.
Queen of the field she is.
Patsy is a young slave girl on Master Epps' plantation. She is the object of the master's affection and cruelty. He's madly in love with her, and he takes it out on her violently.
You done this to yourself, Pats.
Lupita is a complete newcomer, straight out of drama school, and so bright and so poised and prep is really impressive.
It was a dream come true to get to work with Michael on my first film. What gets captured on camera is what is actually happening in the scene. So he's terrifying, but he's also really a gentle person in real life, which made it safe to do the things I had to do with him.
I ain't got no comfort in this life. If I can't buy mercy from you, I'll beg it.
Steve McQueen is such an incredible artist. He manages to tell these really hard stories. He's very open as a director, and he lets you run with it. He gives you the room to figure it out on your own, and then steers you if you need it.
Steve's just very good with human beings, I think, and understands human behavior and has a curiosity in it for sure, and approaches it in a non-judgmental way. And he's passionate about what he's doing. It's just a very inspirational person to be around.
What you enjoy in an audience, you enjoy as an actor as well, because there's a real purity of purpose between the performance space and the cameras. It really brings you into the moment, and that's what Steve's trying to capture.
For me, it was an honor, a privilege to make this book, 12 Years a Slave, into a film.
Fantastic.
I read like a very sort of dark fairy tale in a way, but it's an absolutely true story.
If justice had been done, I never would have been here.
At the time, I thought to myself, this is like the Anne Frank book of America.
Days ago, I was with my family in my home. Now you tell me all this loss.
I wanted to tell a story about slavery. My ancestors were slaves. They're from the Caribbean, and I wanted to find an interesting angle into the narrative. I like the idea of it starting with someone who is a free man, dragged into slavery via kidnapping.
My name is Solomon Nורt'אפ. I'm a free man.
Working with somebody that I admire so hugely was a treat. The whole thing has just felt like a kind of projected fantasy, you know, like I dreamed that I worked with Steve and made this film. It was a really great experience.
This is not an African-American film, this is an American story. And slavery is a part of the history of America.
Well, I was a free man. I'm not a slave. I don't want to survive. I want to live.
I love working with actors. I don't want people to come and do their thing and leave. It's about grappling with the material, getting the performance, having a moment of truth, as it were. And that's what we got. And what more can you ask for?